Last time, on Blurred Summon's SoD journey to defeating the Scarlet Enclave, I ventured from Black Fathom Depths, questing and leveling to 40, where I received my mount and attempted the Gnomeregan raid, which unfortunately didn't go so well. But maybe in this episode, we'll get our revenge on Gnomeregan. First things first, I noticed something pretty off about my character. I don't have a helmet. Now, I could just buy one off the auction house, but I decided to make a little journey out of it and collect a specific Warlock one from some quests. We head to Darkshire and the Wetlands to collect 2 specific flowers, which our Warlock instructor uses to brew a potion to give to a noble after finding out about the Warlocks in the basement of this inn. We're the ones to give it to him, and he meets his demise after sticking his nose where it shouldn't be. And for our efforts, we are gifted this hat with pure wizard energy. After that, I return to Ashenvale for more dailies, and I can't find a group, so I decide to try solo these quests. But shortly after starting, I do find a rogue to quest with. It was during this incursion I realised even more just how tanky Blurred Summons is with the Drain build. We're able to kill all the elites with just the 2 of us, though the Shredder is messy because he's immune to shatter damage, so I don't get the healing from Drain Life. Overall, this gives us massive XP and gold, getting us to level 43. After which, I make a long run through Feralis to pick up the Decilis flight point and collect some items for a small Warlock quest, which gets me a pretty nice upgrade to our offhand. The next day, I'm in Menethil Harbour and I just barely miss the boat. You hate to see it. But it means I get to be a spectator to whatever all this is. Moving on. Yeah, I'm back here. The efficiency is just too good. I remember hearing about how poor these were received when they came out, and I can see why. It'd get pretty repetitive doing so many of them. This time I can't find a group, so I end up soloing just what I can, which is actually most of it besides the Shredder and Profession quests. And now we're level 45. I take a break for a while because at this time of day for me, there's not a lot of people online. A while later though, as in midnight for me, I run up another Gnomeregan group in my attempt to clear it this time. I actually end up tanking this run, just so we can feel a bit easier. We even get a 60 mage to help heal us, and this run goes much smoother. But before we get to where we left off, I'll go over the loot from bosses. Grubbus doesn't drop anything for us. Viscous Fallout drops the wrists, like last time, which we do win. Crowd Pummeler drops no gear for us, and as we fell the robot, my gloves actually break, which is not very good because that's where my Metamorphosis rune goes. Thankfully the mage has a grey pair for me to use for now. While we clear to the second boss, our second healer just vanishes, and yeah, they never return unfortunately. But one of our druids offers to half heal to help. But onto the Electrocutionist 6000, nobody dies this time. He drops some really nice gloves, which would be great, especially considering I'm currently wearing greys. But we don't win them. Oh well. There's a quest that rewards some blue gloves after this anyway. And now we're back to the Mechanical Menagerie, with me tanking this time. I decide to take the dragon and keep him away from the other mobs so he doesn't buff them. But we wipe after our main tank and then I fall. These things really hurt. Our druid, the one doing the most damage, offers to fully heal to avoid this, so we should have it this time. We pull again, but then I die. And I feel like I wasn't getting healed. So I checked my details after the wipe and yeah, I just didn't get a heal besides my own for at least 10 seconds. We're keen to go again, but at this point the 60 mage looks like they've ult F4'd. Not looking good. But our group holds strong, and we end up getting my very kind guild leader, a geared rogue 60 to come help, as well as another guildie to replace for heals. We go back in, still 9-manning it, and it is rough, but Xeno is doing so much damage, and heals feel much better. But due to our comp, we actually mess up the main mechanic of the fight, that they all have to go down at the same time. So a couple of the bosses return to 30% HP, and at this point it's really spicy. Multiple are down, but we're so close, and we finally get it done. This amazing epic dagger also drops for us, but we don't win. It's fine, I'm happy we just got the boss down. We recuperate and prepare for the next boss, who has 4 phases. In the first phase, the tank needs to kite while the flamethrower is going off. Second phase, you need to stay out of the ice. Third phase, you need to interrupt the boss's toxic fume thing he does. And during all of these phases, bombs are pouring out which need to be killed, and the buttons by the dispensers need to be turned off, which can only be done by an individual once every 30 seconds. Now, I'm on bomb killing duty, as with my instant cast range searing pain ability, I am the best here at it. The fourth phase is all of these mechanics combined. By the end, it's very dicey. People running around, on the floor, bombs everywhere. We get him out of the mech and I actually can't find him. I was panicking at this point. He has very little HP, but he still needs to be reduced to 0. I managed to find him and taunt him just before a rogue gets taken out, and with all of our struggles and through sheer willpower, we managed to take down the final boss of Gnomeregan. We do receive some gear for our efforts, a helmet and a chest tier token. Big thank you again to the guildings for helping out on this one, wouldn't have been possible otherwise. Ending up my night around 2 AM once again, I take a short trip to the auction house to buy some new cheap shoulders. I need to fix the outfit. This just isn't it. Yeah, that's much better. The next day, I do some quests in Hinterlands, which in doing so, I ding level 47, and I'm able to do the Hinterlands incursion. Yay, more dailies! But this time with a couple guildies. This one's kinda rough though. The mobs are orange to me and I have to tank. The total elite takes us a few tries. But we get through it all together, and after a short scouting trip to the Altar of Zul, I hand in a final quest to ding level 49. Only one level away from our next raid, the Sunken Temple. I was gonna call it a night here, but then I decided, screw it. I'm gonna form a group for Zul'Farrak for my final level before bed. Zul'Farrak being one of my favourite dungeons in classic WoW. I like how different it is from other dungeons, and there's loot for everyone from here, but it takes so long to find a healer, I'm starting to regret trying. We find one eventually, but shortly after our paladin, who also had the mallet of Zul'Farrak, DCs. We wait a while, but he ain't coming back. So we shortly after find a rogue with a mallet to replace. Now at nearly 2 in the morning, we can finally start the dungeon. I take this opportunity to mix and match a lot of my runes to get a feel for them. At this point I've decided that at endgame I want to be a destruction warlock, throwing fiery destructive spells such as Chaos Bolt and Rain of Fire. But in this dungeon, my damage feels really bad outside of massive pools. I had also realised that I forgot to train for a while, including a massive upgrade to Rain of Fire at this point. I do decent damage if I incinerate to buff fire damage, Rain of Fire, and then Hellfire, but this is so taxing on both my mana and my health, so I can't really do it. But anyway, onto some loot. The main thing we can get from here are either the gloves or staff from the Witch Doctor. Unfortunately though, we don't win the hands, losing to the priest. We do the chief of these trolls after the stairs event, and he actually drops the less than 1% drop rate sword, so congrats to our melee hunter I guess? On anniversary, my warrior is about to do Zul'Farrak, so it did make me a little upset to see it, because now I don't feel like he's gonna get it. We finish up at Grazrilla, who drops a very nice dagger for our rogue who brought the mallet. But more importantly, we receive the scale, which we can turn into this gnome for the carrot on a stick, a famous trinket from classic WoW which increases your mounted speed by 3%. And outside of SoD, it's a lot of people's first trinket. At the same time, we ding level 50, and that means that tomorrow, well, today, Sunken Temple is on the menu. I start a group up and we have a ton of 60s helping us out around this time. So I'm pretty confident, even with only 2 healers. And yeah, this place goes pretty dang smoothly. First boss is a Talarian. He summons these pillars which you need to stand in front of before he does his big knockback shockwave to avoid excessive raid damage. Due to Sunken Temple being a 20-man raid rather than 10 men, it drops more loot, though this boss has nothing for us. After that is the huge slime boss. Festering Rot Slime. Ranged are meant to kill these random objects along the hall, to put them in the path of the slime to slow it down, while avoiding green effects on the floor. No loot for us though. After that are these trolls, which is sort of a council-esque fight. You fight them progressively, and after finishing one off, they come back as an unkillable ghost that continues using their ability. These go down really easy though, and they drop a lot of healing gear. Shortly after, the next 2 bosses, Dream Scythe and Weaver, spawn. They do acid breaths as well as occasional knockbacks, which are scary due to the green pools, as well as the big hole in the middle. And yep, that is a fair chunk of the raid down the hole. Regardless, we get the bosses down due to our sheer damage output. This Ret Paladin 60 is pumping. They don't drop anything for blurred summons, however. Next are Ogon the Wretched and Gemalan the Prophet. Once you take down one, the other gets empowered. We take down the melee troll first, and I actually die. I do however get B-rezzed by one of the 2 druids, but I should have waited until the fight was nearly over because this guy does some serious raid damage. Even with all my drain spells, I still get taken down again, meaning no XP for us. Once defeated though, this boss drops an insane dagger for casters and oh no. That's the wrong button. That hurt. Silver lining, I got a tier token at least, while I mage won the dagger. Keep note of that. The next boss is another 2 green dragon boss, Hazaz and Morphaz. I'm not 100%, but I think the fight boils down to zerging down Morphaz while you're in the dream state realm and coming up before the cast finishes. We accidentally locked out our healer this fight though, and I think it's going to be a wipe, but we actually finish it with only a few deaths. And oh my god, look at that offhand, that is insane. I hit need and... Right after that boss is Irenicus, whose main mechanic is that you need to put yourself to sleep by walking into a green cloud before he casts Waking Nightmare. This is a one-shot to anyone, so you have to do it properly. I don't do it properly, even though I'm very much in the cloud. Maybe there's an eternal CD between sleeps I don't know about, which does mean, unfortunately, no XP for us. But we do get another tier token to use later. We're now onto the secret last boss, which requires an egg from a lengthy quest chain. I don't really know this fight, I'm gonna be honest, which does mean I get taken down because I guessed mechanics wrong. I just know you're not meant to spread corrupted blood. No XP once again, but wow, this staff dropped.
Oh my god.
Look at that thing. That is insane for casters and especially warlocks with the extra shadow damage. You can see me contemplating here really hard on whether to need on it, and I regret equipping the offhand, but because of that, I decided to greed on it for the other warlocks. But then, the mage, the one that got the dagger from before, rolled on it, and needed it, and won, which everyone immediately criticizes him for. 1, because he got the dagger, but 2, because it is very clearly a warlock item. Look at how much spell damage that thing has for shadow. Sure, it might be an upgrade for him, but it's still pretty uncool in my opinion, but he doesn't give it up. So I'm sorry to my warlock brothers and sisters who rated this run, and to those watching. Regardless, I finish up by turning in my tier tokens for some much needed upgrades, and that leads to the conclusion of this part of Blurred Summon's journey. We got our revenge on Gnomeregan and took out the corruption within the Sunken Temple, getting ever closer to our goal of hitting 60 and defeating the Scarlet Enclave.